am going to show you how to make these great lawn signs, which you can get this actual material at any local hardware store. And then if you have a Cricut, Cameo, or other cutting machine for vinyl, you can create this really quickly and easily. So let's swing on over to the machine and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Okay, so here I am in my design space and also hiding away in my bedroom, away from barking dogs and fighting kids. So here I have created a sign. This is my basic design that I use, and you'll see I placed a rectangle behind it. I just did that to guide me in my creation. So once you're done, you can really get rid of that. Just delete that. And here I am with my design, and I can now make it large enough to cut out of vinyl and put on my sign. However, I have been making multiple signs, same color, because it's the same school. So when I'm making multiple ones with just a different name, there's a little trick I like to use. So instead of having to make one sign individually, I like to just lay out all my vinyl, cut it all at once, and then be done with it, especially if it's all the same color. It just makes it so much easier. So let's say I'm making one for somebody named Lily also. I will select this and I will just duplicate it. And I just like to use my arrows to drag it down so I'm not dragging any of Becky's sign over there, because that could just really make a mess with all these crazy dots and everything. And then I can come right in here and I could just change the name. So I'm just going to make that now Lily's sign. Do that. So now I have two signs, and I could do 3, 4, it doesn't really matter. And since you're already using a long board to cut, because your words are already going to be, bigger than the standard board, you might as well go ahead and do all of these at once. So now that I have two, obviously I need to resize them, and resizing them individually can be a mess. You'll make the Lily sign really big and it'll overlap the Becca sign. You'll never be able to find it. It'll get lost in the mess. So basically you want to grab that whole thing just like that and just bring it on up right over so it's pretty much lined up with the other sign. And then what you can do is come up here on the top bar and you'll just select all. So by doing that, now you can make it larger all at once. So my boards that I'm using to create my sign are 18 by 24. You can get them at Home Depot, any standard hardware store would have that. Lowe's, I'm sure any of them. So I like to keep an inch free on each side. So it's 24 across my sign. So I'm going to make it 22. Oh, you want to unlock this, by the way. And then it's 18, so I'm going to make it 16. Just make sure you measure your signs. They're all a little bit different. You get some on Amazon, they may be a little bit different measurement. So you just need to make sure that you measure first and then just subtract 2 from your width and your height. Okay, so now I have my signs. They're ready to go. I can just hit make it, and I can cut my vinyl, and then it'll just tell you, obviously to measure out, and it's going to tell you need a bigger mat, and you go ahead and use the bigger mat and you cut it all out. Now when I do have it all cut like that, so many things, like I'll have 3 or 4 congratulations, and I'll have all of my caps and stuff that are in black. I will go through and then cut out everything individually before I weed it, because if you try to weed a whole big thing of vinyl at once, it's just going to stick to itself and your fingers and your hair, and you end up with vinyl all over your body. I mean, I'm usually covered in vinyl. I track vinyl all over my house. So you don't want to do that. I cut out each individual congratulations and the name and the class of, and then I can go ahead and make my sign. So follow me on over and I'll show you how that is done. Okay, now that our vinyl is cut, we are ready to apply it. And there's a little hack you may want to know first to make your life so much easier, and that is the magic of rubbing alcohol. It's cheap and it's just an easy thing, because when you use this, your vinyl will go on super easy. If you don't use this, it'll start ripping and peeling and make your life really difficult. I wanted to cry and pull my hair out many times not using it. Once I started, life changer. So you want to take, I just use these cotton rounds that people use for makeup, and I just wipe down my entire board, and then my board is ready to go. And I have my vinyl here that's cut and also ready to go. So let's apply. Okay, so here is our cut vinyl. Here is our sign that has been cleaned with our rubbing alcohol, and we allow that to dry. It dries very quickly. And then I take a piece of transfer paper. This is Staples brand. I like it the best. I don't know why, but you can use the same piece of transfer paper the entire time. So I like to throw that away because I'm so neat and clean and keep my area so tidy, as you can see by the vinyl all over my floor. So anyway, this will fit over my congratulations, and since that goes on top, I start with that one. And you'll want to use your little squeegee, and you'll want to just run across your vinyl just to get it to stick, and pull that up, and you'll be able to pretty easily peel that away. And again, keeping my area nice and neat, I just chuck that to the side. So now you'll see I have a ruler set up, so you obviously want this centered, and I like this to start about a ruler's width down. So now that I have that lined up, I can line this up with that, and just press that down, and I can take my ruler away. And just kind of do that with your hand, push it down, and then you want to come in again with your little squeegee and run across. And yes, although we have the alcohol on here to make it stick, you still want to be careful. You don't want to run in and just tear this off and risk ruining your letters. So you want to come in, I start at one side and just gently peel. Now, if I didn't have the alcohol, my letters would be peeling off. I'd have to be using my finger to constantly press them down. I've been there, I've done that, and it's horrible. And this just makes it so much easier. And literally takes probably 5 minutes, start to end, to just lay all your vinyl out. And once that's down and centered, it's easy to place everything else. And what I like to do is kind of lay it out on my canvas first, just so you have a good idea where everything lies and how it should be spaced out, okay? And I have all my designs here. And I usually apply all of that first, and then I come in, and you had noticed on my canvas on the computer that I had polka dots all around. I have polka dots printed out. I tend not to peel this extra vinyl away. I tend to leave it just as like a sheet of stickers almost. It's just easier to peel off and put your polka dots on. If you do stars or a different design, it might be more complicated and you may want to actually weed your vinyl. But in this case, I don't. There's just too many circles here, and that would be a mess, and you end up, you know, with circles peeling off left and right and ruining them. So once that's all down, I like to give it 48 hours before I give it to somebody, because it will be sitting outside. I want to make sure the vinyl is set and that it won't peel off on them, and it can go on their yard. These come with metal stakes, so they'll be able to stick it right in their yard. And again, the finished product looks like this. So it's really an adorable, quick sign, and such a nice thing to make for a graduate. Just make sure you wipe off all of the dog hair before you give it to your customer who has spent money purchasing this lovely item. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and hope you go out and make some really nice signs for those special graduates in your life. Thanks for joining me.